Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Code Talker Cyberse Yugioh deck profile for post Duel Devastator. Want to do an update to the Code Talker deck with the release of Duel Devastator. We actually got the new Decode Talker Extended, a new Link 3 monster that definitely does help with the Code Talker deck, giving you different plays depending on what cards you have, with the additional support from the Legacy of the Duelist promo cards we received for the Cyberse support. I finally collected all the cards for the deck, so I'm going to be bringing you all the deck profile. I'll also probably be doing another deck profile for Cyberse that focuses on the new Link 5 we'll be receiving, Dark Fluid Dragon, in the upcoming week as well with the release of Chaos Impact, so definitely look forward to that as well. It's a completely different take on the Cyberse deck than the Code Talker deck, which focuses more on the Link plays you can do for all your different Link 3 Code Talker monsters. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the monsters, I run 3 Microcoder, a very important card in the deck. If a Cyberse monster you control will be used as a link material for a Code Talker monster, this card in your hand can also be used for the material. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard as the material for the link summon of a Code Talker monster, you can either add 1 Signet spell or trap from your deck to your hand, or if this card on the field was used, you can add 1 level 4 Cyberse monster instead. You can only use this effect of Microcoder once per turn. To get each effect for Microcoder, you have the option for the hand link summon, which definitely helps if you're 1 short on the field for your monster, but being able to search a good amount of the Signet spell or traps gives you options depending on what you want to search for, because you can search for either Signet Mining or Signet Codec, which definitely does come in handy adding those searches to your hand. So definitely need to run 3 Microcoder. I know it's a little more difficult to get this card because of the fact that it is a video game promo, so I'll show what cards you can take out for Microcoder if you're looking to play the deck and you didn't have access to the obviously promos from the video game. I also run 3 Balancer Lord, just a great card for the 1,000 life points you can pay. You get an additional normal summon, and you only get this effect once per turn. If this card is banished, you can special summon 1 level 4 lower monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Balancer Lord once per turn. So you have some other options in the deck to banish cards from your graveyard. So once you do Balancer Lord's banished, you get another special summon from the hand, just keeping on extending your plays that you can do with the deck. So very, very useful with Balancer Lord for those numbers. Like I said, I love it mostly because it's the only thing you really use life for in the deck for the additional normal summon, but then you can get benefits of other cards when they are normal summoned from your hand, depending on the type of effects you use, whether it be like Clock Wyvern or your Rom Claudia, you name it. Very, very useful, and they all work very well together with Balancer Lord. I also run 3 Widget Kid. The most important part of the deck for the Code Talkers is the fact that you just have a lot of monsters that can easily get out on the field. Widget Kid definitely does help. Vice versa with Balancer Lord. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 Cyberse monster from your hand in defense. You can only use this effect of Widget Kid once per turn. So whether you use Balancer Lord to get out Widget Kid, then get another summon that way, or use Widget Kid to summon Balancer Lord and then get summon out, it doesn't matter. Either way, you'll have the 3 monsters on the field with this card. So very, very useful for sure, just to get monsters out on the field very quickly. That's why I also like to run 3 of this card. And I also run, for the last of the 3 Cyberse Gadget. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but its effects are negated. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Gadget token on the field, and you can only use this effect of Cyberse Gadget once per turn. So you have that option for the special summon when you normal summon it. So giving the additional normal summon with Balancer Lord is very, very helpful. But the token means that obviously when you use this card for a big link, you're not completely minusing yourself on the play, since you'll have the additional card to add onto the field as well, that you can use that token for some of your other monsters you want to summon out. And I also run 2 Clock Wyvern. When this card is normal or special summon, you can have this card's attack to special summon 1 clock token. You can only use this effect of Clock Wyvern once per turn. I'll run 2 of this card just for the fact that it is searchable with Signet Mining, so you have the option to add to your hand. And also, it's just a once per turn effect. We don't run Cyberse Clock Dragon in the deck, but still very, very useful for that additional token. Since if you have to attack a Clock Wyvern, it doesn't really matter, since you're just going to end up using it for a link summon anyway with the token and some other monsters you have on the field. And I also run 2 Rom Claudia, just a great recycle card, especially if you've already used cards like Backup Secretary in the deck. And when this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Cyberse monster from your deck except Rom Claudia. So special summoning your Clock Wyvern, very helpful there for sure, since you'll just get the token. And your opponent will have either more monsters to go through, or if it was the last attack, you'll have more monsters for you to use on your turn during your summon. And I also, speaking of Backup Secretary, like to run 2 of this card also. If you add it back with Rom Claudia, it's just another easy special summon onto the field, or just with any of the other Cyberse monsters, since all you have to do is control a Cyberse monster to special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon it once per turn, but still like to have the options for more search of this card when I need it. If I just need that 1 additional monster to get my play I'm going for on the field. And then for some of the one-ofs in the deck, I run 1 Link Infra Flyer. I run this for the fact that it is a wind monster, so very, very useful there. Since with Cynet Codec, which we'll get to in just a sec, searches out the card based on the attribute of the Cyberse you summon of the Code Talker with the same attribute that you use. When you summon out a wind, you get Link Infra Flyer. You can special summon it once per turn from your hand to an arrow that is on the field. I also run 1 Sim Tappler. You can reveal this card in your hand. Target 1 level 4 or level 4 Cyberse monster in your graveyard. Special summon this card to your hand to a zone a linked Link monster you control points to, and if you do, return the target monster to the hand. So it's great recycle power, and then just an easy special summon from your hand to use as well. And I also run 1 Code Radiator. If a Cyberse monster you control will be used as link material for a Code Talker, this card in your hand can also be used as the material. And if this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard for the material of a Code Talker monster, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0, and also negates effects. If this card on the field is sent to the graveyard, you can target 2 monsters instead. You can only use each effect of Code Radiator once per turn. So kind of an extended microcoder with the different effects, but also being able to be used from your hand is very, very useful as well. I like to run the 1 of it, since we do run Shooting Code Talker in the deck. It means it's searchable when you summon out this card, just like some of the other 1-ofs we run. Another one being Degrade Buster. Very useful. It helps with the banish for your Balancer Lord, since it's a requirement for the banish in the graveyard for this card. It's also a fire tribute monster, so it's searchable in the deck also with your other cards. And then for a few more of the 1-ofs, the 1 Lady Debug. This card's way too good in any Cyberse deck, so it's still at 1 on the ban list, but still very, very useful. Just being able to search out level 3. It could be Backup Secretary or a good amount of the other ones, like Defcon Bird. Just a discard of 1 other Cyberse to special summon this card from your hand. It's the main reason I like to run this card in the deck, just for that easy special summon. And 1 Dotscaper, just whenever this card's banished or sent to the graveyard once per duel, you special summon it to the field. So more cards to work with, and it's also a 1-for-1 target. So you can either set up more Cyberse in your graveyard to use and special summon this card from your deck, or, like I said, use it for other cards that you run in the deck. But also just having these 1-ofs, they're searchable with Cynet Mining, or even just having the option for the basic search off of Cynet Codec. If you didn't have the micro coders and you wanted to take something out for the additional numbers, you can bump up the numbers of Backup Secretary, Clock Wyvern, and adjust around your numbers of either the Code Radiator or Defcon Bird to reach those 3 numbers for micro coder. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. For the continuous spell, I run 3 Cynet Codec. If a Code Talker monster is special summoned from the X deck to your field, except during the damage step, you can target 1 of those monsters, add 1 Cyberse monster with the same attribute from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the X deck for the rest of this turn, except Cyberse monsters. Even if this card leaves the field, you cannot add other monsters with the same attribute to your hand by the effect of Cynet Codec this turn. You can only activate the effect of Cynet Codec once per chain. But that's what's so great about Codec. It's not once per turn, it's once per chain. So every time you get out a Code Talker, you have the search. And since we have so many different attribute Code Talker monsters, it just means we have that many searches to do once this card's on the field. And the fact that it is searchable with microcoder is all the better as well. And I also run 3 Cynet Mining. With this one, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, add 1 level 4 or lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 Cynet Mining per turn. Very useful for the search. Also sets up your graveyard with some other Cyberse that you can easily special summon back. If you don't have Cynet Mining, you can put in Cynet Backdoor. It's a quick play spell that banishes 1 on the field to search. Almost as good, but Cynet Mining really does help move things along faster, giving you, obviously, monsters to use in both the graveyard and then searching them from your deck without having to banish 1 that's already on the field. And then also, I run 2 Cynet Optimization. With this one, if a Code Talker monster battles, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of damage step, and during your main phase you can immediately after this effect resolves normal summon one Cyberse monster, and also you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Cyberse monsters even if this card leaves the field. You can only use the effects of Cynet optimization once per turn. So that additional normal summon definitely does come in handy with all the different searches and special summons we can do, giving you that one additional one on the field. Also another searchable one since it is a Cynet card, so very, very useful there. And to keep getting monsters from the graveyard back, especially with cards like Cynet Mining, I run 2 World Legacy Succession, just another easy special summon to any of your link arrows on the field to kind of make up for some of the numbers if you don't have the codex, but you definitely, I would recommend looking into getting them. If you're looking to build this deck at full power, you could try bumping up optimization to 3, World Legacy Succession to 3, and try putting in Gold Sarcophagus as well if you don't have the cards. And for some of the one-ofs, I run 1 for 1, 1 Foolish Burial, and 1 Monster Reborn, whether it's graveyard setup or special summon from the main deck or the graveyard. Very, very useful for these one-ofs in the deck just to help with your plays. And for the traps, I run 2 Cynet Conflict. I really just do like this card. You have options when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while you control a Code Talker, which should be most of the time. With this deck, negate the activation. If you do, banish that card. And if you do, your opponent cannot activate card or effects with the same original name as that card that was banished until the end of the next turn. You can activate 1 Cynet Conflict per turn. It takes care of problematic cards your opponent may be running of 3 of, that they might have multiple numbers of that then you won't have to worry about next turn. But also, you almost always have a Code Talker on the field with this deck, so you never have to worry about not being able to use this card also. And that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra deck, I run 2 Decode Talker Extended. This is the new Code Talker in the deck. He needs 2 or more effect monsters to make this Link 3. This card's name becomes Decode Talker while on the field. It gains 500 attack for each monster it points to, and during battle phase, if a monster this card points to destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. So the additional attack definitely does help with the pressure with this card. It's also just a very easy monster to summon in the deck, which is why I like to run just the 2 of it in the deck, heating up some big numbers as well with this card in the deck. If you want to try a third one, you can give it a shot. I have the 1 Decode Talker in here just for the fact that it is a effect negation when your opponent targets a monster you control, so very useful just by tributing those cards. It's the one thing it has over Extended, basically almost the same card, just still a little better pressure-wise. For the other Code Talker monsters, I run the 1 Transcode, able to recycle your monsters from the graveyard, special summoning your Cyberse links to the arrow it points to, and then also powering them up and protecting them from being destroyed or targeted by card effects. 1 Power Code Talker, just for the big power plays. Shooting Code for the multiple attacks. X Code, being able to take up your opponent's spots. And also the 1 End Code. I like them all just for the different attribute options also, but the different effects definitely do come in handy depending on what you're trying to make. And then for the other ones, just for some of the arrow setup, I run 1 Tri-Gate Wizard. I love the arrow positions when I need them, especially when I'm trying to go for the extra link, which you can easily achieve in the deck as well. 1 Honeybot, same arrows, just easier to make with 2 Cyberse monsters. 1 Talkback Lancer. This one can recover your Code Talkers very easily from the graveyard, which is why I like this card as well. And then for easier Code Talkers to make, I run 2 Code Talkers. Just need 2 effects to make it. It's a Link 2, so when you can make it, especially with your Microcoder, especially, just another easy one to go for. And I also run the 1 Link Disciple, another Link 1 that can help if your hand's kind of a dead draw as well. And 1 Cyberse Reminder being the only Exceed I run in the deck. Not so much for the fact that it goes with the Exceed plays, it just helps to special summon other monsters onto the field as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. Like I said, I'm definitely going to be doing another Cyberse deck coming up soon, so definitely look forward to it with the release of Chaos Impact. But until then, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.